implementation of new technologies, whether in AI, robotics, genetics, geoengineering, or nanotechnology, to name but a few exciting current areas of rapid advancement, must be carefully considered and debated. We cannot afford to allow ourselves to be propelled headlong into an unknown future without carefully exploring the implications, both ethical and practical, of our discoveries and their applications. Many examples come to mind, such as the way robots are already beginning to replace humans in the workplace, how we can best guard against cyber terrorism, or the way we use up our natural resources while destroying habitats and threatening the ecosystem as the world's population grows both in size and greed. But I am painting a bleak picture, and our future need not look like that. It is important to remember that scientific knowledge in itself is neither good nor evil. It's the way we use it that matters. You can be sure that within a decade or two we will have AI-controlled smart cities, driverless cars, augmented reality, genetically modified food, new and more efficient forms of energy, smart materials, and a myriad of gadgets and appliances all networked and talking to each other. It will be a world almost unrecognizable from today's, just as today's world would appear to someone in the 1970s and 1980s. One thing we can say with certainty is that our lives will continue to be completely transformed by advances in our understanding of how the world works and how we harness it. Some of the contributions in this audiobook paint a relatively reliable picture of the future. This is because the science they describe is with us in embryonic form already, and we can see clearly how it will mature in the years to come. Others offer more than one scenario describing how our future will unfold, not because we don't understand the science or because its application may throw up surprises, but because the path we take depends on how that scientific knowledge is used. These will be decisions we must make collectively as a society, and that require responsible politicians as well as a scientifically literate populace. Inevitably, certain topics, whether driverless cars, genetic engineering, or the so-called Internet of Things, are covered by more than one contributor. This is deliberate, since it gives the reader more than one perspective on the different ways all our lives will change in the coming decades. It also highlights that many of these new technologies are interconnected and act to drive each other forward. Some of the essays, particularly those towards the end of the audiobook, are inevitably more speculative as we peer further ahead. In my own contribution at the very end of the audiobook, for example, I take a look at the very distant future, way beyond our lifetimes. But then where would any self-respecting book on the future of science be without some mention of teleportation and time travel? It is fair to say that some of the early chapters in the audiobook strike a rather somber note in describing future scenarios, particularly if current warnings are not heeded, while others hail the wondrous technological advances just around the corner that will enrich our lives. An important point to make at the outset, however, is that this collection of essays is meant to be neither celebratory nor alarmist, but aims instead to paint as honest and objective a picture as possible, as seen by the world's leading experts in their fields, of what our future will look like. The one thing all the essays have in common is this: they are all based on our current understanding of the laws of nature, science fact, not science fiction. They do not predict a fanciful or far-fetched future, and they do not appeal to magic or fantasy. I like to think that their sober assessment, their very groundedness, makes for a far more honest and, yes, exciting listen. The future of our planet. Demographics, conservation, and climate change. 1. Demographics. Philip Ball. The world changes because we do. Like most frequently overlooked truths, it's obvious once you say it. The future will be different not simply because we will have invented new technologies, but because we will have chosen which ones to invent and which ones to use, and which, thereby, we will permit to change us. Some of these technologies will surely